Hey,
Hey, feels so weird.
how y'all doing?
What's your Yahweh?
You go first.
Okay, my Yahweh is my church group here is just like really good and something I prayed for, and I was really worried about finding like a good Christian community at college, but I've literally hit the jackpot. So,
Play.
what's your Yahweh?
My Yahweh is I'm doing two student-led Septembers because one of them I was like already wanting to do, and then like when I was reading my Bible the other night, it just like the Bible was like yelling at me to share with others, so I'm doing two, and I'm so excited. So
Period. Maybe she has a career in ministry too, guys, like a side. Okay. Well, how many fruits of the spirit have we done so far? Because
goodness, oh yeah, faith. Wait.
joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness. Six? It's our
Yeah.
seven. Okay.
No, I thought
So
that was
we're
nine.
yeah, so we have
Oh, we're on seven, is what you're saying.
yeah. Mm.
Um,
Um,
mm. Okay.
so today we're talking about faithfulness. Okay. So,
What is faithfulness?
well, the dictionary definition is remaining loyal and steadfast. And steadfast means unwavering. So that's the dictionary definition. But in essence, it's just being loyal, dedicated, etc.
To something or someone.
Yes, yes. Which most people, I feel like, would attribute people of faith with their faith in God.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
I
because
was looking.
okay, you go. Sorry.
I was looking up faithfulness. I was just like looking up things, and I liked that it came up with like a list of synonyms, and I liked it. It's constant, loyal, resolute, staunch, steadfast. Well, all these words mean firm and adherence in whatever to whatever one owes allegiance. Faithful implies unswerving adherence to a person or a thing or to the oath or promise by which a tie was contracted. Faithful to their promise. I just thought it was it was, I guess that kind of just adds on your definition, actually.
But that's good. Like, I like those words a lot. Yeah. Um, because, like, I think of it like being rooted in your faith is being completely faithful because you're
Mhm.
unwavering. And though, like, storms may come and bend you, they're never going to break you in your faith because you're so steadfast in it. So that's what being faithful really is. God is literally so faithful to us, and Jesus was the perfect, again, like the other fruits, Jesus was a perfect example of faithfulness. So, like,
He's literally Faithfulness is literally a direct attribute of God, of Jesus.
yeah,
And like Jesus was so faithful to God, and so
yeah,
it just makes us want to be faithful to him, you know.
yeah. Yeah.
But
Um, and it is very difficult to like stay
yeah.
rooted because we are human and we fail him time after time, which is the difference between him and us because he's never going to fail us because he's so faithful. But,
Yeah.
um,
See, that's what I have a verse, Second Timothy 2:13. If we are unfaithful, he remains faithful, for he cannot deny who he is.
period, period, period. Um, God is perfectly faithful to us. So,
Hmm.
yeah,
We're faithful in everything we do, in the way we act inside and outside of church, and how we present ourselves, who and what we surround ourselves with. They all add up to what is faith, how we show our faithfulness to God. It's not just being faithful in one way. It all adds up to one, like all adds up, you know.
yeah, yeah, it does.
Hmm.
I think another thing faithful means, or like a synonym, or like not a synonym, but like part of the meaning is trusting. So
Mhm.
trusting God, even when it just like seems like you shouldn't, like it seems like there's a you're in a valley and it seems like you don't understand why and you're like, why is God putting me through this or
Mhm.
whatever. But we should trust and be put our faith in him because he is all knowing and um uh, he has a plan, you know.
Mhm.
Because Hebrews 11:1 says, faith shows the reality of what we hope for. It is the evidence of things we cannot see. That's like one of my favorite verses because that is literally the essence of the Christian faith,
Mhm.
like of it all.
I feel like faithful is such a pure and clean term. It's so like it's just so it's just like a baby. It's like so pure and clean and like faithful, being faithful and just like I don't know. When I think of faithfulness, I just think of purity and just like I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't
yeah,
know. Just like white and like I don't know, just you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's
Uh,
just such a raw love and nature that we should have towards God. Like that's what faithfulness shows is like just the pure raw nature of how we should be.
100%. Um, 'Cause it includes like I think it includes submission, obedience, surrender, like all of that, like what you said, like how we act.
Yeah.
It should all be submitting everything we do to God, you know?
Like it, and especially in today's society, it's a lot there's a lot that could break our faithfulness and it's a lot easier to be unfaithful rather than be faithful. So it's so much harder to be a faithful Christian, to be the constant servant of God when everyone around you is unfaithful in everything they do.
Yeah.
And it's like that's how society rolls. That's the foundation of society is to be unfaithful in this day and age. But God calls us to be faithful to Him, so it's hard to go against what we are living in. You know.
The world begs us to do the opposite of what God does. So it is hard, but like there's so much more with God that, you know, like,
Mm-hmm.
um,
God will give us so much more than this world could ever even imagine.
yeah.
But
Mm.
that's why it's important to like being a faithful servant is or being faithful to God. It's not only what we do, but who we surround ourselves with and what we surround ourselves with. Because if we surround ourselves with people who are not sticking to those same faithful terms and not having those same ideas, then it's going to be easier for you to want to break them and easier to break them. And like, you're not going to see any harm in the breaking them if that's how you surround, if people you're surrounding yourself with think like that as well.
Yeah.
So you need to
Yeah.
surround yourself in people who have that same faithfulness mentality as you, the right one. So
Yeah. And they're not going to try to like,
pull you from that.
yeah, like get you to waver, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like I've noticed that a lot, like recently, just being at college. A lot of people, like, just are a lot more, um, persuasive to
Mm-hmm.
do things that are against your faith. And
Yeah.
you just have to, like, have to put your foot down and you have to be able to say no.
Yeah.
Your faith is in something greater. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for
I
sure.
think about, like, Sarah and Abraham. That's
Mm-hmm.
probably like a really good example of faith in the Bible because they waited a very long time to have a kid, like, and they probably like they thought it was. Hold on, sorry. Yawn break. They thought that it was impossible to have a kid at Sarah's age, but when they put their faith in God and not what the world said about having a kid, they learned how important it was to do that because they got to have kids. So submitted everything to the Lord. That's
Hmm.
a very great example.
And faithfulness, like I think when I think about it, it's just think like at the when you don't when you're just thinking about it at the surface level, it seems like easily attainable. It seems like okay, everyone can be faithful if they try. Well, it's more than just that. It's going in and blocking out the things that make you unfaithful and focusing on what is true and right and good. And when you really like think about it, like going down deep into what makes us faithful towards God and how God is faithful towards us, it's so much deeper than like just the surface level of just being faithful, just having your faith in God. It's I don't know.
Yeah, I
It's
understand.
more it's more than that.
Yeah, I understand.
And a lot of things too, like you don't even realize that what you're doing can be breaking your faith until after or until you step back and look. And so it's so important to like take that step back and look at what is truly building your foundation of faithfulness towards God and what's breaking it.
Yeah. Um, have some ways to like make sure you're rooted in, or not make sure, but ways to try to become rooted in your faith. I'm not saying this is all you have to
That's what
do,
I have some of that, some too.
but like these are like some attainable as you start out. I think a relationship with God, like not it's relationship over religion. Like
Hmm.
a relationship with God is going to help you establish your faith in Him because when you talk to God every day, you start realizing like how real and how you can actually trust Him because he starts like you just start seeing glimpses of Him, you know? You know what I'm saying? Like
And when you look
little
for it, it's there.
yeah, and it's through little things and I've noticed it a lot more when I pray more, you know? Um it's definitely hard to pray, but that's literally how you're gonna build like
Yeah.
a strong relationship with God.
Hmm.
And then ask yourself, what areas of my life have I not given over? Like, what areas have I not submitted
Hmm.
and I'm still being unfaithful through
Hmm.
that, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Like taking the step back to look at it.
like,
Yeah.
like, 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 like what you said.
Um, Faithfulness is being loyal, steadfast, and unwavering in one's relationship with God in all areas of our life. And so, like, some ways, I have some more ways too that we can do that. And, like, I have, like, okay, I'm just gonna start talking. So, just at its very nature, it's trusting in God and, like, that which sounds so simple, but when you actually have get put to the test of having to trust in God, it's a lot harder than that. Of just it's a lot more difficult than just doing that. Through all circumstances, even when it's difficult, you still have to trust in Him and His plan and know that He knows what's best, not you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
Father knows best.
all knowing.
You didn't get my joke, but it's okay.
So insane to me.
Yeah.
He knows about like what's gonna happen in our lives. Like literally the whole thing planned out.
Literally. Um, Keeping our promises. Faithfulness means keeping our promises and fulfilling those ones, like not only to those around us, but also to God. Like, I feel like we honestly, like, when we pray, a lot of times we can promise a lot of things to Him, and then we go
Mm-hmm.
into actions that, like, break that so strongly. And the way to keep our faith our faith unwavering is to keep those promises that we make to him, that he makes with us, that he gives us the opportunity to have, you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah.
um Another one is just surrounding yourself with those who have great faith. And when you surround yourself with people like that, it'll just rub off on you basically. Like you're gonna
Literally will.
you're like just surround yourself with those right people and it'll rub off basically. Like, you know, but yeah. And
Um,
I have another Bible verse. Romans 3, 3 through 4. True, some of them were unfaithful, but just because they were unfaithful, does that mean God will be unfaithful? Of course not. Even if everyone else is a liar, God isn't true, as the scriptures say about him. Like, even though I think that's just basically it kind of gives you a reassurance in why we should be faithful to him because he is so faithful to us.
yeah.
And like there's so much in the Bible talking about like a faithful servant, a faithful steward, a faithful, like Moses was so faithful to God and all he did everything God said. And like, faithful is so brought up so much in the Bible. And it's just,
Hmm.
it's, if when you read about it, you can learn about it.
I agree. Is that all you have? Okay. Well, this is quite weird.
So are you?
Um, yeah, this is quite weird, but it's our new setup for a while, guys.
Yeah, guys, I hope you like it.
I know the camera quality's so good, but it's okay. We're gonna make it happen because we
Yeah.
want to. Yeah. And God wants us.
If he wanted to, he would.
Yay! Well then. Um,
We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
mhm, for our eighth fruit of the Spirit. Jesus loves you. Oh, this is so sad.
That is so sad. So you're bye bye. Bye bye. But
Bye
don't
bye.